Hey guys, this is Marcus, and today we're going to be installing the fiberglass tub. You're watching DesignIY. Stay tuned. So as just stated, we're going to be installing the fiberglass tub today. If you're new to this channel, you should know that this is less of a how-to and more of a video log of all of my experiences renovating my entire house. So by and large, the content that you see here, this is my first time doing this. So take what you see with a grain of salt, but I will try to share tips and tricks along the way as I come across them. Without further ado, installing fiberglass tub. Enjoy the show. So a little update here. We got the tub test fit. We have our subfloor screwed down in place. I didn't have an air nailer. I just have a air finish nailer and brad nailer. That wasn't gonna cut it, so I just went ahead and made a bunch of screws. We got our drain cut out, and I ended up having to modify the original drain cut out from the subfloor that's underneath this plywood. And so the objective now, I've been opening up all of this drain stuff. Got the drain on there, test fit. We're definitely gonna need an extension tube because they don't reach clearly. But I'm going to go ahead and test fit this, make sure the opening that we cut out is going to be large enough, with enough room to work on it from down below. Got the tub all test fit, and you can see we have plenty of room there to get our hand around the drain if we needed to. And with this enlarged opening, it's just going to be a lot easier to work on the tub if it ever came to it. So we did a good job. It was stupid hard to get this drain to go in there with as tight as a fit as it is between these studs. So if you're into shimming, that might be a better idea. Give yourself some more wiggle room so it's easier to drop the tub in and get the drain up right. Of course, these aren't permanently mounted, those are just test fitted. But I wanted to make a couple notes because at this point you're like, next time I put that tub in there, it's staying in there with all the cement and mortar or whatever that you're putting underneath it. So there's a couple things you got to note. First off, we're going to have tile up here on the top part, and then the tile probably will wrap around a little bit here. So you want to make sure you have something in place for your drywall seam where your drywall and your cement board are going to butt up against each other. If I come past that tub with the tile and come down here, I have something to screw the cement board to, but nothing to screw the drywall to. So I'm going to have to add a 2x4 going up so I can actually screw the drywall in. Same thing we got over here in the corner. I put my cross members across there so I could actually nail the wall, which probably wasn't too great of an idea because now I got to splice in between those two and splice in between those two, and again at the top, so that I have a place to actually screw the cement board to there in the corner. And then we have to move on to this wall while we got framing in mind, and God only knows what they did. I'm finding out that you never do something just once. You test fit, you cut, you test fit, you cut, you test fit, you cut, and then maybe you finally actually get it installed. So you never think about this as being simple, and if you're trying to gauge how much time it's going to take, figure out how much time it's going to take and then times it by about 3, and then you'd be that accurate. So I'm learning. Okay, so I got a lot of things done. We're going to go ahead and we cleaned up the room so we could get the tub on its side and I wouldn't have to worry about ruining it. But I've discovered something I never knew before here on the back side of these tubs, because it is just molded fiberglass. Let me get this light in a place where you can see. So this is the apron on the front of the tub. Obviously it's laying on its front side, and how does that apron not flex back and forth? Well, I just figured it was molded in fiberglass that way. That would make it really rigid. No, but instead they have these black things here. They got a little peg in the top peak of that triangle, and that black piece fits right onto that peg, and it fits snug in the other corners on these little rivets on the inside. So if I can show you here, you can see those little divots, and they kind of have a few of them all the way down so that it clips onto this black piece, and this is called the apron brace. So that's why the front of the apron is rigid and you can't flex it, because it's got this brace at least down at the bottom portion. So that was pretty interesting. We just went ahead and put our pipe on, our drainage pipe, So now I'm going to go cut out the existing drain so we can test fit this tub one more time. Okay, we got the second test fit for our tub here. Got the drains all installed. You can see got this thing going down the hole nice and straight. It wasn't quite easy to get it that way, especially if you're just one person and you can't see the drain as you're trying to drop the tub in. Generally hits the subfloor and knocks it sideways. So you can see we're pretty tight up against our studs. Might need to shim just a little bit. That corner is pretty tight. I know there's a glare, but this corner is going to be hard to tell. There's quite a bit of gap. So I'm just going to shim and count on installing furring strips on all the studs to get that cement board, Hardybacker cement board, to come out over the flange so I don't have to route out the backside. And that way it doesn't matter how much I shim here, I'll just make up for it with the furring strips later when we get to the surround part. But I went ahead and added blocking a little bit here since we didn't quite make it to this stud. The instructions call for a metal bracket being attached to the stud in pretty much all the corners. So here, and then on the back wall all the way over, we got one there, we got one here, and I also added this guy to that stud so you can see that, so that we could get one there because we had the same thing going on. Also, you want to pay attention to the little areas down here in the corner. You want enough wood exposed to screw your cement board, and then we'll have to make the transition to drywall over here. So I'm probably going to splice in a 2x6 all the way up to about where our switches are going to be, and then I'll continue up. Haven't quite figured that out, but we'll make it happen. Can cause serious injury to skin and eyes. It says product contains Portland cement. Contact with freshly mixed product can cause severe burns. I had no idea. And as far as what to use underneath the tub to lay the mortar bed, I see a lot of varying results. A lot of people are saying, well, you're putting it down to plywood, you need to use the modified mortar for tile setting so that it sticks. And I see a lot of other people say, no, regular mortar works. Why would it work? Well, it's not supposed to stick. You're not setting tile. I went digging into this and it looks like a lot of people are confused and a lot of people all have different ideas and opinions on that matter. But what makes the most sense to me is that mortar is just a leveling agent. So it's going to fill in all those little gaps in your imperfect floor. Then my opinion is regular cheap $6 or $3 a bag mortar is going to work just fine, because all you're trying to do is fill in all those little spots, and when it dries, give it a solid surface to actually sit on. Whether it adheres to it or not doesn't matter. So that's my opinion on the matter. I'm going to go ahead and mix these guys up, lay me a bed of mortar. But first, I'm going to get some long sleeves on so I don't get those burns that they talked about. So it bites into the mortar. A lot of people don't even use mortar when they install tubs, like they should. There we are. We are up against the studs like we should be. So I just have to insert a comment here and tell you how vital this next step is. I wish I had a little bit more experience with mortar and with leveling things before I decided to take on this chore. Because once you push the mortar down, that's it. You can't go back up after that because the mortar doesn't expand like, say, expanding foam would if you were to use that method. So you only push it down as far as you need to based on how unlevel it is to start with, and that's it. You let it sit overnight and you're done. Otherwise, you'll either end up with a tub that has no support underneath it or a tub that'll be forever unlevel. Not only is it annoying that the water doesn't drain properly, maybe it goes from one side of the tub to the other more so than the other, but the shower door became an issue in my case. In my case, the tub is unlevel such that the front of the tub is lower than the back of the tub, and water that gets on that threshold in between on the flat part of the tub and the shower door literally puddles, and it's just constantly trying to get out through the shower door. So just an insert. It's very, very, very vital that your tub is as level as possible. At this point, it was all screwed in, it was level, or as level as it was going to be, so it's just a waiting game. Wait for the mortar to dry, and you're ready to continue the next day. And that's all she wrote on this one, guys. If you found this video insightful, helpful, or you liked it in any sort of way, hit that like button down there. It really, really helps me out and keeps me going on these videos. We have a whole house worth of renovation to log in the years to come. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and you'll see more content like this one, and I'll only get better as I go. Talking about getting better, drop me a comment, tell me what you'd like to see, what you liked, what you didn't like about each video, and I will cater this content to you. After all, I'm putting it up there just for you guys to view. So this is Marcus with DesignIY, and right now, we're signing out. See you on the next one, guys.